Hello everybody, and welcome back to JoJo Overdrive. Today we'll be looking at Chapter 13 of Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak.
The most exciting JoJo release in the last week.
Yeah, of course. Nothing else has happened this month at all.
Nope, it's been pretty slow.
Yeah, it's, I feel like we're really in a drought of JoJo content right now. Rocky has to put out more stuff. But focusing on this chapter, this is... I did not expect whatever this was.
Yeah.
This was very, very bizarre, haha. But it's just... This... I thought last month's was the most fanfiction-y of them all, but, this
took the cake. This is like
so...
beyond...
What in the hell? I
mean, I think it's evident now that the story's wrapping up. We have probably 2 more chapters left after this, but I did not think that it would get to this point that, like, the author clearly just really likes Kakyoin.
Yeah. Part 3 in general, it's so weird. Why does the story have Josuke as the main character? I don't it could have just been a whole horse that whole
It could have even been
Ryoku.
Or it could have been like Jotaro too.
That too, yeah. It's a very straight. I guess he just liked Josuke and wanted to put him in, just because. But he doesn't get.
Especially because of our theory that I think is even more evidence now that it's just his mind's gonna get erased once Pet Sounds is defeated.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's the only option if he even wants to pretend this is canon.
Yeah. We've always had this weird soft canon for Crazy Diamond so far, where it's like, it's been advertised as like the first official spin-off to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but like we've never really had them directly tell us it's canon.
I mean, it seemed for the first like 8 chapters, it seemed like pretty canon, and then it started getting into Josuke directly seeing Dio and stuff, and it was like, which what's going on here?
A bit with early part 4. Which I don't think is that... I don't think it, like, detracts from the story. I would just like an explanation or for them to just say this is not canon.
And with it being a memory-based stand, that's why I think it's very likely that there's going to be some memory erasure.
I would like this to be canon. It would be nice to have some fun
full horse and character development
yeah, exactly.
for all of the Part 3 villains.
All of this stuff has been very nice. And this chapter, we get a big focus on some more Kakyoin character development, which is more than we had for Part 3. Pretty much.
I'm also saying that I called it last chapter review when I said that we were going to end up seeing all of the Stardust Crusaders in these flashbacks because we see Joseph and Jotaro here.
Yeah, you're right.
And I believe, I don't know if we have Polnareff yet, but it's a matter of time.
I don't think
I don't know.
Have we seen Jotaro before? Because I think this might be the first time we've seen Jotaro.
That's what I was saying. We haven't seen Joseph and we haven't seen Jotaro.
Now, along with all the other different variations of Jotaro, we have Spinoff
Crazy Diamond Part 3 Jotaro, yeah.
There we go, wow.
I was like, he's for sure going to find a way to have him draw them. And we get the callback to when Kakyoin's turned into a doll and stuff. Yeah, and it's supposed to be like, she's meeting him during that, when that's happening.
Yeah, apparently when Kakyoin gets sent to like limbo, essentially, like this spirit realm in between space-time, Ryoko is able to like speak to Kakyoin, and it's implied this is like literally actually like happened. It's not like a it's not like a fake encounter or whatever. It's not an illusion. It's like, oh, this is actually them communicating like through time or whatever, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's a bit forced. It's like, really?
It's too much. This is kind of jumped the shark, this chapter, I think, in terms of like, really, dude, we get it. You like Kakyoin. I like, obviously all the stuff that happens in the real world, but I think it gets a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess so. Also, it's a big part of this chapter is just like this conversation, basically.
Rocky would never ever do something like this. Is why I'm like, it doesn't feel as JoJo. It feels just more fan servicey than anything.
Yeah, I think it was done much better last chapter.
Especially because the freaking Kakyoin's cousin is like original character Do Not Steal.
Oh yeah, freaking Kakyoin.
That it's like That it's like they're putting their OC to meet the character that they were inspired by.
Yeah, basically. That's kind of what it feels. You're right. That is what it feels like.
Right?
That is an interesting observation. What else do we get during this? Why?
We get the welder torch. That I like that as a weapon.
Yeah, and we get Josuke like fighting him off like while he's possessed or whatever, and his strategy is to just punch the air where he thinks it is, and it actually works. Which, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then
I also like the villain being a cop, because it like parallels how his grandfather's also a
yes,
cop.
I was about to mention this, and then he mentions he mentions like what is it? It's at the end, I think.
He says like the only cop I trust is my grandfather.
Yeah, he mentions his granddad. And I
Which
think
adds a decent development before like the beginning of part 4, where they kill him off like so fast with Aqua Necklace.
Yeah. Cause at the beginning of part 4, Josuke's grandpa dying is like his main motivation, pretty much. He has this whole speech and everything about how he's gonna protect the town or whatever, like his grandpa once did or whatever.
Yeah.
Which makes sense leading into fighting Red Hot Chili Peppers and then Kira. But I don't think past the first episode or 2 or chapters, his grandpa's never like mentioned or shown again. I don't think, like ever. So
no, I think we get one thing, maybe just like looking at a picture or something, but it's not a huge part of it.
It's nice referencing that bit of continuity again, and I also think it's hilarious how this chapter's like recognizing Josuke as like a traditional Japanese like delinquent or whatever, and as he's like, what cop would see me and then like immediately like trust me? That just wouldn't happen. What's with all the cops getting beat up in JoJo recently? We've got a pattern here. I like this. I like the panel of the villain getting like punched. It's a good classic like JoJo moment where you see the indent of his fist in his face or whatever. It's a lot of fun.
How do you think, like, because this chapter honestly is a lot of just the conversation, so just going ahead a little bit. How do you think it's gonna like wrap up with it?
I think we're going to have, this is gonna be the final battle. It's gonna be Josuke versus, I will remember his name eventually in the future, Josuke versus Bad Pet Sounds Man. It's gonna be them two, and then we're gonna have Ryoko and Whole Horse. Like Whole Horse is gonna snap her out of it or whatever. And
the villain is Karaya.
Karaya, yes, thank you. They're gonna fight, and it's gonna be Josuke's like gonna be able to see through the illusions or whatever, but it's gonna be less of Josuke's looking through memories and more like he's getting memories summoned to attack him or whatever, and that feels like a much more like final JoJo fight or whatever. I feel like there's gotta be something to do with the ability and Crazy Diamond's ability to like repair stuff, right? I feel like there's gotta be some sort of interaction that could happen there. Like he restored, like he just returns the memories back to Pet.
Yeah, that could be something. That would also kind of parallel how we're seeing the Darby the Gambler storyline, where it's like when you beat him, all the souls go back.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just think there's got to be something to do with Crazy Diamond that like ability-wise will counter Pet Sounds. I feel like that'd be a traditional JoJo way to end a fight. I just don't have any I don't have any clue right now. I would like.
Remember when they connected it back to freaking his grandfather or whatever, like seeing the Pillarmen during World War II?
Oh my god, yeah, what?
That was insane.
Insane. There's so much stuff that happens in these that I just kind of forget about. There's so much fan service sprinkled throughout this entire thing, and it just keeps building and building every single chapter. It feels like.
Yeah.
First chapter was pretty crazy seeing all the minor villains in the first place, and then it just kept on going from there, and it got pretty crazy. which is...
Oh, yeah. Speaking of fan service,
Yeah.
the final page of all of Crazy Diamond is going to be Jotaro walking up and starting the events of part 4.
So we'll have part 4 Crazy Diamond Jotaro along with part 3 Crazy Diamond Jotaro.
That is what it's going to be.
Jotaro list.
It's going to be, I want it to be that literally, like, Whole Horse immediately walks away, and then the whole thing with the bullies and the turtle or whatever happens,
Horse walks away,
and then
Josuke
Jotaro
spots
walks
a
in.
turtle and is like, oh hey, it's a turtle, and then that happens. That would be fun. I've always liked like prequels that lead directly into whatever it's prequeling. That's always a lot of fun. Like Rogue One, that's a great example. What was I saying earlier? Oh yes, I would like for Whole Horse to do a bit more. So far, it seems like he's still just kind of tagging along,
which is weird because it seemed like it was going to be a Whole Horse focus, but really it's more like the other part 3 villains in Josuke.
Yeah, from chapter like 1 or whatever, Whole Horse seemed to be like the focus or whatever. It was about...
It's like sent on the mission, yeah.
This is... Josuke's doing what Whole Horse was tasked to do or whatever, which is like recover pet sounds. So it just seems a bit odd that Josuke is basically 1v1ing him instead of Whole Horse being along. They're barely on I'd say on screen, quote unquote. They're barely on screen with each other, Whole Horse and Josuke. They always get split apart every 5 seconds. I would like to see a bit more duo action. It would be nice to see maybe Emperor and Crazy Diamond like interact in some cool way to defeat the villain or something. Again, I'm not creative enough to figure out like exactly how it could do that, but
something, yeah.
Something. I would just like something. Yeah, I agree with you. There's too much stuff that happens that they have to forget. Josuke has to forget this happened somehow. It's gotta be, right? Because why would he not mention even like Whole Horse and everything? Like it feels like he should know what stands are, because Jotaro gives Josuke the whole stand spiel at the beginning of part 4, but he would already know what they are at that point. There's no like reason for that. It's gotta be.
Josuke like trips on a rock and then like he gets like amnesia.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He's gonna freaking he's gonna get the Oingo Boingo book or whatever. Thoth or whatever I think it's called. He's gonna get it and he's gonna rip out the pages that he's gonna rip out the pages of the events that had happened. He's gonna forget they all happened. I don't know why he would do that.
Final thing is like opening the freaking Thoth, and then it's like a murderer is gonna go around Morio.
No, man, it's gonna be that, bro. What are you?
It is gonna be
have
that.
To stop, man. I just thought about. Yeah, you're right. That's totally what it's gonna be. It's totally gonna be like, oh, Josuke's gotta go hunt this killer.
Or Kira's gonna bump into Whole Horse or something.
Oh my god. There's... Why are we... I mean, okay, it would be fun to see Kira walking around.
You act as if he literally hasn't had it so that Kakyoin was able to communicate beyond the grave with his OC.
Shut up. It would be epic and cool if Kira was there.
No, I agree. The Kira walking around would work, but I think it just... I guess it fits for the series for how fanfiction-y it feels.
Yeah. If you're gonna go a fanfiction-y route, I'm glad it's going all the way with it, but not like all the way as in Eyes of Heaven. Hey, look, it's everybody. It's like trying to be still like
it's trying to connect part 3 and 4 like way harder.
Yeah.
Which is funny because part 4 already feels super connected to part 3. If there was any part that needed to be connected to the original universe more, it was part 5. So.
Yeah, but there's some kind of there's some charm in part 5 being so separated from everything else, and we even part 5, which is still like, if excluding part 7, even then, part 5 is like the most separate part from any others. But even then, you have Polnareff, you have the Standards, you have Koichi at the very beginning.
Yeah,
there's still plenty.
I can't believe originally he wasn't even gonna have Polnareff in there.
Yeah. What was the story? He like learned how popular the character still was.
Yeah, like people wrote letters to him, and he was like, "Oh, we gotta have Polnareff in here." Speaking of, can we get Polnareff in this series then?
We gotta go write letters to Araki, and we gotta say, even though JoJo Lands is 8 million years after Steel Ball Run, can we have freaking Magenta back? He's my favorite of all time. Please have him live at the end.
Yeah.
Yes. If okay, do you think after this is done, do you think we might get like another spin-off?
Another spin-off?
Like this written
Ooh.
written by the same guy, or maybe not even written by the same guy, just in the same like
if it's
flavor.
the same dude, what I could see them do is do a manga version of Purple Haze Feedback.
Oh, that'd be fun. Out of all the things I like thought, everyone always talks about like an anime adaptation or a movie adaptation of Purple Haze Feedback, but people never talk about like an actual manga adaptation of Purple Haze
It'd be cool with this art style, and again, like I've said, it bridges the gap more. Maybe if you wanted to add even more connections, like I'm more curious, like what does Polnareff do after part 5, where he's just a turtle?
True. He's just chilling. I'm not that knowledgeable of Purple Haze Feedback, so I don't know if they cover.
Yeah, I don't know.
Much.
I haven't gotten into it yet.
I know Mista's in it. I don't think like Trish is in it. Jorno is in Purple Haze Feedback, but
I think Trish is a pop star or whatever.
Something weird. I don't know. Something weird. I don't know enough. Which would be cool. So if we got a manga, I would read it and I would be like, wow, this is so cool and epic. I don't want to read books. There's no pictures in this. How am I supposed to enjoy this? But Purple Haze Feedback would be, I honestly, with this art style, would be really cool. I like this art style a lot. I'm super happy with this.
I would really hope that they just roll right into another one.
Do you think it's possible that we'd get another spin-off like this, but it's in the second universe and it's in between 7 and 8, which is like 100 years of time they could work with?
Joseph?
For someone, who knows? Remember, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to star a JoJo. It can be a minor villain. It could be Magent's Adventure.
Funnier Valentine and funniest Valentine.
It could be the guy that says winter catfish a lot. Actually, I think he dies. I think. Wait, never. It can't be him. Never mind.
I don't think anything with the original universe the second universe is gonna get touched.
Okay. Well, to be fair, I thought nothing in the original universe would get touched, and then we get this, so...
Well, you're always wrong about that, because of the Rohan spin-offs, which is continuing the original universe.
The Rohan stuff has, like, no connections to anything. This has actual story implications for the characters,
There's episodes of the Rohan thing, or chapters, that have part 4 characters. One of the ones, DNA... has Yukiko as like a main character in it.
Oh, really?
And also, there's Poaching Seashore, which has Tonio as a main character.
I know that. But like, I think this is different because it's like more. It's bridging a gap. It's kind of adding more context to both parts in terms of like where the characters go. Part 4 changes based on like the events of this and like what we know Josuke would possibly know at the end.
I agree.
And with the Rohan spin-offs,
I was just saying
absolutely nothing.
I was just saying I never was like under the impression that the original universe like couldn't be touched again. Okay. The only thing is I don't think we'll ever get anything that'll be like anything featuring like a main JoJo after 2011 in the timeline.
That makes sense.
I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't think we're going to be getting a post-part 6 Jotaro story or anything like that.
No Irene?
No Irene. No.
Oh, what a shame.
If they ever did that, if they ever made it so, like, but now Irene has to go on an adventure, that would legitimately ruin Stone Ocean. That would be awful.
The ending would be kind of canceled out at that point. It would be...
all of us know Paco in Part 9 is secretly Emporio.
Of course.
And the hustle is just burning down the house Requiem.
Actually, no. That one kid in the Blue Hawaii arc with the baseball cap was actually Emporio.
Or you know how Emporio's cap is in the shop in Part 8 in the beginning?
The shop owner was Emporio the whole time.
Yes.
That's my real
guys, Emporio, I watched interview on YouTube. Emporio is Part 9 protagonist.
How do those people feel at this point? How are those people like
reacting? Do they just expect that Emporio's gonna show up eventually?
I have no clue.
This is how much we're into the series now that we're talking about Part 9.
Yeah, exactly. What other possible characters would be alive at this time? Because this
could interact with. Do you think the Stand Arrow is going to be relevant to this?
No, that doesn't make sense to me. I think if the Stand Arrow were here, we'd have already seen it already. Like he would have. He would have already had it. But the fact that we haven't seen it means probably no. I was just thinking, no, because I remember doing the weather report bio video, I remember seeing that like he was born like so he would be alive during the events of like other parts and stuff, because you know it's I never when I think about like parts, I kind of think of them separately, but when you think about like how old certain characters are, like Weather Report's pretty old. He's relatively
he's
like 30, I think. He's older than I always
older
think
probably. He's the same age as Poochie.
Yeah, and so he'd be kicking during I'm not saying they're gonna bring Weather Report into this. I'm just trying to think of what other characters.
The report into this, I would stop reading this series.
I wouldn't stop reading, but I would lose all respect.
Why would Weather Report, who's from America and who's like in prison for a large amount of time,
Horse
be in
is
Morio?
From America.
Weather Report is in prison. They establish he's in prison for a long period of time.
No,
and
but like, what if he is?
Shut up! Yeah, what if he gets arrested in Morio?
Yeah. You're not thinking of the Crazy Diamond cinematic universe like I am. Okay, we've got to plan the post-credit scene. Okay, but the post-credit scene in this is gonna be Weather Report breaking out, and we're gonna see a mini adventure with the Weather Report for the next spin-off.
This entire thing is actually going to be like an insane alternate timeline where Josuke dies, and like part 4, like Kira kills everyone and never gets caught.
Okay,
and
that would kind of be baller though. I'm not even gonna lie. Like that sounds
apocalypse timeline.
I want the nightmare timeline or whatever.
The nightmare timeline from freaking Zack Snyder's JoJo is gonna be Jotaro with an eye patch and a white beard. Traveling
that goes hard though. That goes unfathomably hard.
Punished Jotaro.
She punished Jotaro. Yes. That's a good place to wrap things up. I think that's a good place this discussion has led.
Most normal Crazy Diamond theories.
We only probably have a few chapters left, unless he's planning on doing a million arcs. Which
there's no way there's going to be another volume. There's no way.
This
is the final villain. Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully there'll be a new series.
Pretty good chapter. Could have been better. Could have.
Last chapter was like way better.
Should have been less forced fan service. Last chapter did the same kind of stuff much better. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to see when the next chapter discussion comes out, as well as the Part 9 chapter discussions, which will usually come out around the same time. The Crazy Diamonds one's a bit later because they always get translated like after they're on the lower priority. And comment down below, what are your opinions on this super fan servicey chapter? Are you a fan? There's a reason why it's called fan service, is because it services the fans. So tell us if you enjoy it. But anyways, that is all. Be sure to catch us next time for chapter 14. This has been JoJo Overdrive signing off.
Shake it like your feet, overdrive. Coming through now. Coming through now. Coming through. Watch where you're going, overdrive. Let the downside up to top notch, whatever haters do. Hot top.